we're going to Florida. Doug, you're up with Joe Foster.
Hey, thanks, Scott, and thank you so much, Joe. And what's really interesting listening to a lot of the answers that you've been given is there's a real emphasis, a red thread on people. And that's yes. Scott's ethos, our whole group's ethos of people over everything. And that's really remarkable as it weaves into your story. Question. Scott was talking earlier to you about innovation, and I think that Reebok was the first brand of its kind to sign an endorsement deal with non-sports athletes. And I'm wondering if you can give us share any insight. Was that just a Paul Fireman thing? Did you have any input in that kind of move? And what impact that had on, the Reebok brand and growth, at least in the US?
Well, I think these were great things that happened with Reebok, but we had a great team, and as you were saying, it's to do with people, and it's also to do with markets. I knew that the American market was very special, and the American way of thinking, the American way of doing things was really so important as far as I was concerned for Reebok. Okay, and we had a lot of people who dreamt up different ideas. And I wouldn't say I was peripheral. I got involved a bit, but mainly my conversations with people like Paul Fireman and Arnold Martinez and other people in the team was, look, get on with it, please. I'm doing my bit. I'm growing. I'm putting this global. So everything that they did, and okay. People used to say to me, we want to sell our product for value for money. And I used to say, well, unfortunately, you need influencers. You need somebody to influence your brand. And, if my grandfather, well, we could have been in his time when influencing, they probably didn't even know the word, but he gave his shoes to a guy called Alf Schrub. And in 1904, Alf Schrub, he broke 3 world records in one race. Also, he supplied the athletes who won gold medals in the 1920s. And, we've got there Eric Liddell, Harold Abrahams, and Lord Burleigh. They all won gold medals. And then, not too long ago, they were all immortalized in the film Chariots of Fire. So this is talking about influencing. And influencing, okay, in my grandfather's day, we're talking about performance. Now we're talking about street. We're talking about what influences anybody. And we know that Kanye West and Yeezy and Adidas, but Reebok started that craze. I can't remember who was the first, but it was to do with music, and it was to do with what influences people. So I think Reebok was really, really in the lead when it came to kids. They're influenced by a lot of things, not just performance, not just sport. There's music, there's art, there's all these things that influence people. So influencing, I think that Reebok probably brought that to the fore, and everybody started to know that. And it was lucky. When we did the aerobics, Jane Fonda actually bought a pair of shoes, and she wore them in her videos. And then after that, we're talking about different people in Hollywood. We were lucky that we had a big feel in Hollywood. So a lot of things that influenced people came out of Hollywood and came out of Arnold Martinez and what he did. But yeah, and since then it's grown and it continues to grow. Where we go in the future, who knows? But it's exciting. I think sport now has such an influence on everybody's life. So many people now wear shoes which are influenced. If they're not sports shoes, they're influenced by sport. And it's same with apparel. This is all influence now. So the sporting goods industry is an incredible one and continues to grow, but it does need that influence.